Hello and welcome to Main Street Matters by Heart on Main Street, the podcast that knows that when you're working on something you love, you're not working at all. I'm your host, Patrick Kaiser. What a week it has been. I was traveling this week to see our friend Kara Polyner in the town of Ely, Minnesota. It was quite a drive for me, but so very much worth it. For those unfamiliar with Ely, it is way up north, almost near Canada. I probably should have brought my passport just in case I made a wrong turn somewhere and accidentally went over the border. But Ely is a beautiful town. I saw some of the most pristine, clear lakes that I've ever seen in my entire life. They were gorgeous. I should have stopped and taken photos of one particular, which it was just a mirror. Something that you see on postcards and wall calendars of beautiful, serene places. Trees and rocks on the lake's far side that were perfectly reflected on the water. You could have stood me on top of my head and had me look upside down, and I would not have been able to distinguish the land from the water and the air. I'm obviously still thinking about this today. It's seriously just such an amazing slice of nature. I did a Main Street Monday from Ely, and I will touch on the town in a future episode. But today, I wanted to continue our interview series with Kara, the owner of Ely Mercantile in Ely, Minnesota. If you haven't been following along, Kara is a brand new store owner and has invited us to follow in her journey as she goes through her first year of ownership. We've talked about the preparation phase, her challenges gauging how much inventory she will need, and what to have on hand of which products. We've also talked about how she's been building her email lists and developing a marketing strategy. We've looked at how she's merchandised her store and how she sourced displays that would fit with the theme and vibe of her store. So we've covered a lot, but other than getting a tour of her store over Zoom, I was actually yet to step foot in the space or really see what it was like. So I was super excited to get to Ely and actually meet with Kara in person to see what the Ely Mercantile looked like and where she was finding success and challenges, and to learn how the store fared during several major events that the town was having since the last time we spoke. Their annual Blueberry Arts Festival and an all-class reunion to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the local high school. Both of these were big draws for the communities surrounding Ely to come and visit the town and be a part of the celebrations. Some of the other retailers that I talked to told me that the Blueberry Arts Fest just in itself brought in 40,000 people to this town of about 3,200. So for a new retailer, these can be monumental for their business if they're prepared. Going through everything for the first time, you don't know how much inventory you're going to need, or whether the products that you've been doing well with will resonate with those coming from outside of the community and out of town. Their 4th of July celebration was almost a test run for this, but you never really know. So I did have an opportunity to sit down with Kara and talk while I was there. We stepped into her back room because it was hard to do the interview with people constantly flocking into the shop, which is a great problem to have. We're able to talk about all of these things and some plans that she has for the future of her business in this interview. If you want to watch the interview and the store tour that accompanied it, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is at Heart on Main Street, to watch the full thing. But here is Kara Polyner of the Ely Mercantile in Ely, Minnesota. Well, I am here with Kara Polyner in Ely, Minnesota at the Ely Mercantile. Kara, welcome. Or hi.
Hi. No, welcome to you.
Thank you.
To you. Thank you for coming. This is great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me up here. And this has been a fantastic day. So excited to talk with you while we're together here in Ely.
You got a nice day on weather.
Absolutely.
We got nice weather these last couple days. Last week it was 56 on rainy on Friday.
Which is a nice fall day.
Our
kind of.
furnaces kicked on, which is so not normal August up here.
Right.
By any means, so.
Yeah, we had some cooler weather as well last week, and it's weird for August to be, but hey, that's okay.
Yeah, now we're back to normal. So you picked a good day.
Good. And we are here with the shop dog.
Yep, here's Arrow, the back of Arrow's head.
You're a good boy. Yes. And we are in your back room. That's real life.
We are in the back room, the behind the curtain stuff. You're seeing my whole maker mess back here. So I've been thinking about even putting a sign up on my desk, like, please, disregard the mess behind me, but I'm a maker. Like, I'm making this as I go. Like,
and we're figuring it out, and sometimes we just have to put things back there. And
yes, and throw things back here. Yeah.
But you were talking about, like, ideas for this space, and so if you kind of see the wood panels behind us, and I don't know how big square footage wise this is. But
I would bet that this is probably it would add at least probably another 400 to almost 500 square feet.
Okay.
If I was to open this up as well. This part has not been remodeled, whereas where my full retail storefront has been remodeled and is gorgeous and has super high ceilings.
And we will show you that, so that's not just you're seeing the back room here.
This needs a little bit of work, but I'm just thinking because of the amount of inventory that I want to carry, that I think by next summer my plan is to expand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back here. So I'm already paying for it, so I might as well
use it for some retail space.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely.
So since we last talked, Ely, there's been a lot going on. We're like in the heat of summer, literally, figuratively, and so tell me a little bit of what's been going on since end of July, or end of June.
End of June, yeah, we hit our peak then, which is 4th of July weekend to probably about now, mid-August, before kids start going back to school. So we had our all-class reunion was running that first whole weekend. July, and so that made town really busy.
Yeah. Tell a little about the all-class reunion. What was that?
That was, our school just celebrated its 100 years.
Okay.
And so I think it was the first time they've ever had an all-class reunion where it was every single class that's ever graduated from Ely. They wanted them to come here, and I know they had well over 1,000 graduates that were pre-registered.
Okay.
And so I don't know what the final number was, but they had a lot of events and stuff going on that whole week for the past graduates of the Ely school. So there was definitely, a bigger crowd around that week. And then 4th of July is always big around here anyway, but that was my last and only day off. I did not stay open for the 4th of July. But then July is pretty busy, and then 2 weeks ago we had our Blueberry Fest, which is our big festival. So that brings in a lot of, they say like 20,000+ people.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing from some of the other shops. Like 10,000 people per day.
Yeah, so that's a big like art craft fair in the park.
Yeah.
And then then people come around and shop in the stores and stuff too.
Very fun.
And so that was I don't know if I necessarily saw an uptake in traffic that weekend. I think it was pretty much similar to what the other weekends have been. Again, I'm baseline.
Right.
Don't know what to compare it to, but some people come up and just go to the park and that's it. And then don't have the opportunity to also come to the stores unless they're staying overnight or something too. But I think it was definitely busy. Was that because of the festival, or was that just because it's summer and summer traffic? Saturday though was busy, but then it was like, I don't think I made not a sweatshirt that day, which was weird, because I think that was a lot of day trip people that were coming to the Blueberry Fest, but they don't have that connection to Ely. They don't have that tie. So the stuff I have is like, if you are a repeat seasonal cabin owner, is what
coming here. You have your home here, or a home here.
You have your lake that you love.
Right.
So I could definitely that's just my assessment from my first year.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, just take note. That maybe Saturday is just a lot of day trippers. There's definitely still had some good sales, but it was just like a different crowd.
Interesting.
What I see.
Yeah. I have noticed, so it's the Blueberry Arts Festival, right? Is that kind of, so I've noticed there's a lot of arts community around here. There's a lot of different people that are making art, or several different art stores in the downtown, or people that are selling their own. Is that common in Ely? Is that
Our art community has just been growing and growing over the last 20 years, and even just recently the art group that we have, the Northern Lakes Arts Association, has really blossomed, and they focus on performing arts, visual arts, all makes and manners of art, and so that's really been helping build that culture here some more. And then we had a new art store open up that people could rent some gallery or some studio space in, and we've got a couple others that are that just showcase kind of local art.
So so there's the art group that's developed here, but is there something else that's really kind of building that art scene, or is it just kind of there's this place attracts artists?
I think this place attracts artists. I mean, just because of its little quieter, slower pace, it definitely attracts artists. It attracts people to paint the scenery, and people are inspired by the scenery. So I think that's what brings a lot of people here. Yeah,
which, I mean, it's a beautiful area, so it's easy to do.
Yeah.
And, I mean, yourself as an artist, and that you've been able to make artwork on of Ely as well.
Yeah, so. And I have lots more to come. I mean, I have a whole multi-lines of product.
We were talking before. We won't give out any secrets.
No
any
secrets
teasers
yet.
But couple great things coming.
Couple of great things will come, and we keep up with this podcast. You guys will see them as they launch. Yeah. But there's just other product lines, of that will feature my artwork.
Yeah.
But in usable items too. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to. Just a little bit slower time, just to be able to do a little bit more creating.
Right.
Also.
So last couple months, I mean, they have been busy. Haven't had off days.
Nope.
So what have you been focusing on in the store to try and kind of keep ahead of the business?
I mean, you think you're like, oh yeah, I can be at the store and I can get this done while I'm working, and it's amazing. Just that's what I'm learning is what you can and can't get done while the store is open.
Yeah.
I thought I would have more time to be making things, and I don't. I mean, it's lucky I can get the product that comes in and get it tagged and labeled and merchandised and get it back out. That will take me. That takes all day to get one box out.
Early on, we kind of talked like, there'd be some downtime. You could go into the back, make some things, but it sounds like that's not a reasonable thing.
No, and until I have maybe a full-time employee or somebody that can cover the counter, and then I'm just here in the back. If people have questions, then they can come and grab me. But I'm winging this a lot this year by myself too, just kind of bootstrapping it to just see how it goes and get that baseline information.
Yeah.
So maybe by next summer, I think I would definitely hope to have somebody that can just give me a little bit of respite.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, everything's learning this year.
It is. Everything is learning. And I mean, I switched to this from working for myself at home every day to now being at a location every day, like weekends included.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah,
I mean, I was a little worried, like, oh boy, I'm not going to have a day off, but I decided to stay open every day for July and August, and they always say is your morning routine. You don't really need a morning routine if you're getting up to do something that you love.
Yeah.
There's your routine.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, I'm excited to come here every day and check off that list, and whether it's just merchandising, whether it's even just tagging stuff. I mean, I find the joy in all of it. So.
Good. I think so many people can relate to that. Didn't have a retail background and were maybe whether they were working for themselves but having something completely different and transitioning into owning retail. What has been the harder part of that transition?
I think it's just coming up with the flow.
Yeah.
Because it is like if it's not on the floor, you're not going to sell it.
Okay.
So there's that's your pressure point. Is where it's like, get it out. You got to get it out now. So it's that if it's not like I don't have deadlines. It's like that's the new deadline is like getting the stuff out right away. I don't know if I've learned. I mean, I've learned to have to better manage my time.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
but it's nice because now I don't work for individual clients anymore. It's like when I go home at night, I am done for the day.
Yeah.
Unless I want to work on stuff for the store, which is still working for myself.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to have a day job and like everybody else, and then be able to go home and if I just don't want to get anything else done, I don't have to, because it's all for me and what I want to put out.
Shifting kind of how before it was a deadline to get that done for a client. Now it's deadline to get it out on the floor. So it's kind of a shifting of that, but not,
And I can set the priority.
Right.
I set how important that is, or if that product, if it's one more day and doesn't get out, I'm only hurting me. So it's a little bit more relaxing that way. So.
I know you've been working with Kathy Donovan Wagner, the retail maven. Tell me a little things that you all have been working together on, and how she's kind of helped you view your business. And
That's been going really good because she, again, I just have baseline information to be giving her. So we're kind of just setting up the whole spreadsheets that she has so that you can really calculate, what your expenses are and figure out what your percentages that need to go for rent each day. And, that the information is super helpful that she gives me. And there's just these spreadsheets that you just literally have to plug in the numbers and it just autofills and tells you this is where you're at, and so I find that super helpful. I joke because it's like, I kind of work from both sides of my brain, but I prefer to work on the right side. I am capable on the left side, and so she's like forcing this left side to definitely make sure that it's getting used as much as possible. But
facts, figures, numbers, it's there, it's just not where you want it to be.
It's not my fun part, but I get it, and I understand that you have to pay attention to those numbers in order to be successful. But it's very helpful, and she teaches that whole profit first method, and Profit First does also recommend using Relay, and I think I've mentioned that I've used Relay before. And I can't say enough good things about that.
Can you explain that for?
So Relay, it's relayfi.com, and it's just online banking.
Okay.
But they have really thought of everything for the independent business owner and what kind of weird little scenarios that we might come across. I can have as many accounts as I want. They don't charge me for each account.
Different bank accounts.
I have different bank accounts. And so I go in there on a daily basis and it says, oh, you have $5,500 available. Well, if you go in and actually look, I already have my taxes are all set aside. My commissions that I owe people for sales is already all set aside. My salary is all set aside. The amount that I need to put away each day for rent is already put aside. So it's not that I have $5,500 available. I can go to my one account where it has my spending money, and maybe there's only $800 in there. And that's the only one that I look at. And so it's such a mind game. Like before, I would never have that money sitting around waiting to be paid to those things because it was all in one account, and you can't keep it separate. And
trying to mentally say X percentage is going here.
Yes, because I was doing it all mentally too. I didn't have the spreadsheets and stuff. So this is kind of like that first step to visually keep it all separate.
So, and I think that's where a lot of retailers get in trouble is that I see $5,500 in my bank account. That means I can spend $5,500 on new product for my store, and then the bills come due, and then all of these other things. And you quickly get in trouble.
It shows me that it's there, but because I know that this is the only one that I'm supposed to use to buy stuff with, I do. And it's actually very rewarding then to see that you have that set aside. Instead of trying to put it in a bank account that I never see and play this little hiding game with myself, is what I would try to do in the past. It's so much more right there in front of you, and it's so easy to use. They've thought of every little idiosyncrasy that you might need to make payments to something or to copy and paste the card numbers. I can't recommend it enough.
That sounds like that has just been a lifesaver.
Lifesaver for me. If I was a banker and wanted to design a banking system, that would be it. They really thought of it.
Now looking back, so when's first anniversary of the store?
Would be in November 10th.
November 10th. Okay. So looking back, talking to Kara from November 10th of last year, what would be things that you would tell her to focus on? What would be kind of your advice to 2023 Kara?
I focused a lot this year on bringing in other products because I just needed to fill the store, and I didn't have the time necessarily to create. Our winter was slow, but I still wasn't sure if I should make stuff. Is that what's really going to sell? I needed to have this summer as a test market. And so now I would just say, you got to make stuff. People have really resonated to the stuff that I've created, and they like that it's the person that owns the store that's actually making it. So that's going to be definitely my focus, is to finally get a lot of the products that I've had on my brain for years to fruition.
So, that is, you went in, you didn't know whether to trust your gut or not, and that,
that's exactly it.
Valid. But trust your gut.
Now I know to definitely trust my gut. That it has been a very validating experience that okay, maybe I do know a little bit more about this than I had originally given myself credit for.
And I mean, you have been in the town, or you've been here, so you kind of had an understanding of what people would want and what could resonate with the town,
with the tourists,
and people coming in, and the semi-tourist people that have a vacation home.
Stop.
Here. It's okay. He's being a good boy.
Tracy, can you call Arrow? There's sticks under the counter in there. Give him a treat or something. He's being needy.
But so I mean, I had an understanding of that, but still, it was you didn't know.
No, and I didn't know, and I really liked when people would always talk about that you need to stick with a niche. Find a niche in the market, and then that's your people. Like, find your target market. And I was kind of worried about, could I stick within looking for certain people?
Yeah. And
I think I found that. I know I have raving fans, and they're my people. It's not going to be everybody.
Yep.
And I am totally fine with that not everybody is going to come in and buy something because it's just not for them. But I really have stuck really solid to the brand. I mean, I've had people, ask me for a t-shirt with the lake on it, but do I have just a regular t-shirt? And I said, no.
Yeah.
I will only do it on the retro vintage style t-shirts. I'm like, it's part of the brand.
Right.
I just have to stick with that. And it's very empowering to think like, okay, that's what they've meant by, keeping a niche and sticking to your brand. You don't want to water it down.
Yeah. Controlling your business and what you do. And if you were just to do it on any old thing, it takes away from the brand.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, so I felt very proud about that I really zeroed in on that, and every time I'm looking for new products, I'm like, okay, does this fit? Does this really give the vibe of the 50s, 60s, 70s that I'm looking for? I'm always asking my questions. Arrow, really? He's trying to. He's just Arrow, come here. Arrow, go on. Okay. Go get a treat. Yeah.
Shop dog.
Yeah. Shop dog. Band. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. We'll see if that holds him. Yeah. But yes, I mean, I think it's good. I really feel comfortable now to just go with that and stick with the brand. I like it when people can come in and they see it's a certain vibe. I mean, I've gotten such great feedback from people and such great compliments that's just really what feeds me. Yes. And so then it's just like, game on. This is I'm sticking with this. I've got my people.
And you do have, it is a good, like, everything seems to fit. Everything fits the brand. Everything fits in the way you've merchandised, the way the products that you bring in is, it's all kind of very cohesive. A very cohesive feel.
And that's fun. I mean, it's fun to do that. And it's to definitely, I want to stick with having things that nobody else in town has either, too. And so if I see that somebody else has something that I wanted, I'm just not going to carry it. I can adapt and find something else.
Right. Looking ahead, where are new avenues? Where are some different things that you might be getting into? If you were going to talk to Kara in 2025, what are the wishes?
I mean, I definitely have so many plans, and so I don't plan on going anywhere. This building is perfect for what I'm doing. I love it. So I hope to expand. I hope to, definitely expand into the back here, like we talked about. Maybe this would be more of the man cave area, so really bringing in those man products as well. I think I have it on the sandwich board outside, it says vintage finds, and so I think that brings the male market in here too, looking for certain things, but I want them to really be able to find something, that it isn't just a woman's gift store either. And I mean, I think definitely just expanding on the products that I'm gonna make, and then the little groupings around that.
Okay.
I have these somewhere. Oh, like these wood-handled, ice cream scoops. So I haven't put these out yet because maybe this is part of my, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but everything I sell has a story, a reason why I carry it. So I carry these now because when my grandma died and they were clearing out her house, they asked me, what do you want from the house? And I said, I want the wood-handled ice cream scoop. Yeah. Because I remembered my grandpa giving us ice cream, and he'd be like, how many scoops do you want? Yeah. Like, 5! He'd give us 5 big scoops of ice cream. And so then what it spawned then is I started collecting wood-handled ice cream scoops. Yeah. And so I have a whole collection. that now will go on display here, but then you can buy your own too. And so, you know, now I'm looking at just other products that have to do with like ice cream store or ice cream soda fountain type feel. Yeah. And so that will develop into another little section.
You'll have to tell that story, because I think that will resonate with people that like, I remember my grandparents and my grandpa loved ice cream, and just having that good nostalgia, you know, just it really hit home. And
well, and that's when people come in here and they're like looking at all the coolers and all the thermoses, and they're like, oh, I remember that. And, and I tell them that. I go, that's what I want you to have when you come in here. I want you to have a moment of nostalgia. Yeah. So I'm gonna connect to you on your emotions. You know, and you know, then you're gonna maybe enjoy looking at things even a little bit deeper. Yeah. And I think I mean, I would like to have a story up on everything. I want people to maybe come in here and they literally have to read their way through the store. Sure. You know? So I'm working on that part, so that I don't have to constantly be interrupting them, or I don't want to miss telling the story to someone, that they can maybe read it themselves.
Read, or maybe a screen that tells a short
story,
it's almost like a little
museum, kind of museum / store, like, you know.
Yeah, it allows people to connect to that, allows them to really bring themselves back into that part of their memory that they forgot about. That this really hits home.
That maybe their grandparents had one too, so now they have to have it.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's a lot of products I have. It's like, if it doesn't mean something to me, you know, I'm not going to carry it. Okay. Or if I can't put some kind of a story with it, or jerk a little at those heartstrings, you know.
Yeah. So looking forward to telling that story more and making sure that is something that's forefront. Is that, I mean, the story sells the product. And,
well, and that's why I think I have to expand, is because I've got like these different collections that I need these spaces for. Okay. And so now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm already filled up out there, so now I'm going to have to expand. Yeah.
You were talking about this area, so we are on Central. Is it Central? Avenue? Central Avenue, Central Street,
Central Avenue.
Central Avenue, and right around here. So there's a lake a little bit north of here, and
there's a lake about a block and a half that has a great paved walking path around it. So it's about a 4-mile loop. And right outside this window that we're sitting by is our old train depot, which had been an outfitter for many years, but now it's going to be remodeled and made back into a restaurant or microbrewery, one of the two. And it has some great outdoor space as well. And so that's maybe slotted to potentially be ready by next summer too. Yeah. And so that's just right, you know, kitty corner for me. So this location will just have even that more traffic of people walking to go to grab another bite to eat, or a microbrew or whatever. It's
nice that you're kind of on the way to the lake already, but if you're having that restaurant right there, that'll be, you know, some great real estate.
Well, right, and parking is really tricky here in Ely too, and so there's a huge parking lot there, and there's a huge parking lot at the lake, you know, too. So if that we can shuttle people a little bit that way, that you can walk to downtown in one block.
Did that factor into why you decided on this location? Or?
Partly, it was nice that it wasn't right on our main drag where everybody drives through and comes through town.
It is a busy street, too.
It's a very busy street. So it's like a highway, but it's just a 2-lane little street with all the buildings right up to the sidewalk. And I wanted to be in this downtown, but at first I was only Sheridan Street, because I used to have a shop on Chapman, which is 1 block on the other side. But then when I started looking at this, and I'm like, oh no, this would be ideal because it's just off that little beaten path, but this is the main road that takes you to our big hotel. Yeah. Is right here too. It's a 4-corner stop right in front of my door. So it's very highly trafficked. Yeah. But not right on that main
drag. Right on the main street.
The traffic is a little bit slower. I'm just a little bit off to the side, which is
and
it's almost ideal.
Yeah. It's not far away from the main downtown, but also right near, you know, again, on the way to the lake. Yes. Again, restaurant coming in, be right there for all those things.
Well, and then, you know, if I expand to the upstairs also, which is a bunkhouse, then those people are going to need places to park too. And so that's always an issue, but I've already had an agreement with the guy at the bowling alley too. Until that opens, I can have people park in the bowling alley parking lot. If I open up the bunkhouse this winter.
Yeah, okay.
So excellent. That's just another facet of the greatness of this building too, is because it's got that opportunity.
So really good location. Good, which is great to be able to kind of find your way into.
And make it mine, and make, really kind of, it's got the opportunity to, this part hasn't been remodeled yet.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to remodel it, I could do it my way, although I wouldn't change a thing about the front.
Right.
But this can now just be done in a way to complement it.
Yeah.
But with my flair on it too.
That is all for this week. As I mentioned, I will fully discuss Ely and many of its retail stores in a future episode. However, I do want to stay in order of my Main Street Mondays, so next week we will be looking at the Bishop Arts District in the Oak Cliff neighborhood of Dallas, Texas. This is a really fun, artsy neighborhood within Dallas. In many ways, it feels so different than the rest of Dallas, so it was fun to explore. I also have an interview with a retail owner and someone who has been instrumental in the development of the Bishop Arts District neighborhood, so it was a great time to be there. Be on the lookout for that next week. I hope you'd enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. For more information on Heart on Main Street, you can visit www.heartonmainstreet.org. Stay safe, shop small, and I'll see you all next week. This episode was written, produced, researched, and edited by me, Patrick Kaiser, with a very special thanks to Kara Polyner.